Today, I am going to tell you what I believe is the most important secret to making millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even billions of dollars. I'm going to tell you the most important secret. And it's probably going to shock you, even though I've said it before. In fact, I've done a video similar to this before, but not the same thing. Today, I'm going to talk to you about sell expensive stuff to rich people, or how to get rich selling to the rich. That's the whole point. That's the fastest path. In my book, Boss Moves, BOSS is an acronym, by the way. It's not about you being bossy or me being bossy. BOSS is an acronym that stands for Business Optimization Success Secrets. One of the BOSS moves is where or not one of the BOSS moves, but in the BOSS Moves book, I talk about different business models. And I'm going to go over to my board. I'm going to write on the board what the different business models are so you can look at them. And a lot of times what happens when people get started in business is what they really do is they buy a job. When they think they're getting started in business, they buy a job. And what I mean by that is they are working for somebody doing a thing. They're a welder, they're a mechanic, they're an electrician, they're a plumber, they're whatever. They are working for a company doing a thing, and they think, well, I could do this for myself. I'm going to start my own business. And they don't realize that just because you can do the job doesn't mean that you can do the business. Right? Because there's more to the business that you work for at your job than doing your job. There's stuff that happens that you're not doing and you've never done and you don't know how to do. So if you decide, I'm going to go start a business, what you're really going to do is you're going to trade one boss for 100 bosses. And what are those 100 bosses called? They're called customers. They're called clients, right? And so what happens is you traded a boss with one job and a fixed amount of time that you work for 100 bosses, or one job, one boss, a job with one boss, and like a limited fixed amount of hours for 100 bosses and an unlimited amount of hours. That's why solopreneurs, they make way more money than people who work for the man, but they have way less time. And if you think, if you're not right now not making as much money as you'd like to, you probably think, well, I'd trade that right now. I'd be willing to work more hours if I'm going to make that much more money. If that's what you think right now, I promise you that feeling is only going to last until it shows up. Because what happens when it shows up is eventually you're going to realize that the truth is time is not money. Eventually you're going to realize the truth is that time is infinitely more valuable than money. And one of the biggest differences between rich people and poor people is poor people value money more than they value time. But rich people, we value we value time way more than we value money. Not a little more, way more than we value money. And so I'm going to share with you a couple of different business models. Now, the business model that most people opt for is what I call the wantrepreneur. The wantrepreneur business model. Now, what's a wantrepreneur? This is somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, but they don't know how. Now, the wantrepreneur business model formula is this: LV times LP equals wantrepreneur. What's that? Low volume times low price equals a wantrepreneur. You have a low price thing, you sell it every now and then, you think you're an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you just don't know how. You're not making enough money to support yourself. This is for some people, this is their side hustle. For some people, this is their only hustle. For some people, they've got these grandiose ideas, but they spend too much time getting ready and preparing to prepare. And so they're low volume times low profit equals wantrepreneur. That's not a very sustainable model over a sustained period of time. A lot of people in network marketing are wantrepreneurs. Not everybody. I'm not saying network marketing is a wantrepreneur before y'all start hating on me. I believe that network marketing can be a great training ground for some people. I know it was a great training ground for me because it taught me how to have conversations with people that create cash flow. But when I was in network marketing and I was selling supplements, I might sell a bottle of supplements and I might make $15. Well, how many bottles of supplements do I have to make in order to make $1,500 selling supplements? I got to sell 100 bottles to make $1,500. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of conversations. And and why do I talk about that? Because I understand that network marketing, like the storyline, the opportunity meeting says, here's what you do. You build a big team, and the big team sells the product. You get a little bit off of a lot of people, but most people never get a lot of people. But don't hate on network marketing, because most people in network marketing fail. Most people in everything fail. Most people who play football don't make it into the NFL. Most people who play basketball don't make it into the NBA. Most people in real estate never sell more than 4 or 5 houses a year. So most people in most things fail most of the time. Okay. So why am I mentioning network marketing? I'm mentioning network marketing because a lot of times people think they're going to get rich and they haven't even recruited their first person yet. They haven't sold. All they're doing is selling vitamins or selling whatever they sell to their friends. That's not a sustainable model. It may teach you a sustainable skill, but it's not a sustainable model. So that's one entrepreneur. And so, and that's not only true for network. Real estate agents who work part-time sell 1 house a year. You're an entrepreneur, right? Okay, so low volume times low price equals entrepreneur. And by the way, usually the people who sell the least amount of houses, they sell the lowest price houses. Okay, for my real estate agents out there, let me help you. Brothers and sisters, let me help you. It takes the exact same amount of conversations, actually it takes fewer conversations, to sell a $5 million home as it does to sell a $50,000 home. The difference is the commission. Right? That's the difference. Like 3% of 50,000 is 1,500. 3% of 5 million, it's more. Are y'all tracking? And so the next one is low volume times HP. Low volume times high profit that equals entrepreneur. Now, what's an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is somebody who sells something. They don't sell a lot of it, but it's a high price. So I used to be an entrepreneur who I thought I was balling when I was making, $30,000 a month. I'm like killing the game. I'm like up in, saying $500 at a time, $500. I'm selling, 60 units a month at $500. I'm making 33 grand a month. I'm a baller. And I remember I went to a Robert G. Allen, the multiple streams of income guy, the multiple streams of internet income guy, the 1 Minute Millionaire, author of all those books and others as well, No Money Down. So I went to a wealth retreat that Robert G. Allen was doing. And he asked for testimonies. Well, at that time, I had a Robert G. Allen CD series in my 6 CD changer. Y'all remember CDs, right? Back when Abraham Lincoln was president? Okay. In my 6 CD changer. And it was all 6 CDs, Robert G. Allen, and I don't remember the name of it, the program. I don't remember the name of the program. But anyway, it stayed in there, stayed in my car for years, like 6 years. This CD program just stayed in my car. And I listened to it every time I got in the car. And I did the stuff he talked about. And so he asked for people to give testimonials about that he's helped. I'm like, I'm doing great, bro. I've made, I used to be a trash man making $6.25 an hour. And, now I make $30,000 a month. My expenses are only $5,000 a month. I'm living like a king. You know what he said to me in front of like 700 people? He said, wow, you're doing really good. You're about to have a breakthrough to the really big money. I was like, did this joker just diss my $30,000 a month? They basically calling it peanuts in front of 700 people? That was my first. That was literally my first thought. I was like, bruh, how dare you? And then I thought, wait, whoa, wait. There is a level at which $30,000 a month is not a lot of money? Oh, snap. What do I got to do to get to that level? It literally shook me out of complacency and made me realize I was playing so small when I thought I was winning so big as an entrepreneur. And I made decent income, $30,000 a month, I mean, that's better than $30,000 a year, which is the most I've ever made having a job. So I 12X'd, yay. But there's more. Then there's LV, I'm sorry, not LV, HV times LP equals what I call a Waltrepreneur. Now you say, why do you call it a Waltrepreneur? Because Waltrepreneur. Because I left out my P. Entrepreneur. Okay, y'all, spelling box. If I misspell a word, take any letter from A to Z, put it where it goes, we can spell that word together. Okay, cool. So now, it's kind of like spell check on a computer, but better, okay, because everybody gets to help, all right? Okay, so HV times LP, what's that mean? That is high volume times low price. Sam Walton had a philosophy: never, ever do I want to make more than 30% margin on anything I sell. He said, if I get a good deal from my vendors, I'm going to pass that deal on to my customers. And he started this business called Walmart. And he said, if I buy something for $1, I'll never sell it for more than $1.30. If I buy it for $10, I won't sell it for more than $13. If I buy it for $100, I won't sell it for more than $130. I'm going to get rich off of 30% margins. And guess what? He became the wealthiest man in the world by a long shot. In fact, he was so much richer than Bill Gates before he died that when he died, his wife and his children became the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth largest, wealthiest people in the world next to Bill Gates. They split up his wealth amongst them, and they all became number 2 at the same time. That's how rich he was. How crazy is that? That's like insane amount of money because he knew what his business model was and he stuck with his business model. Now, my favorite business model is HV times HP. What's that? High volume times high price equals what I call a wealthrepreneur. I'm going to put the P in this time. The wealthrepreneur. Now, what's a wealthrepreneur? This is somebody who, when they make a sale, they make a lot of money. I am telling you, it doesn't matter if your intention for starting a business is to create wealth. It's not just to make some money, right? It's to create wealth that changes your family forever. If that is your intention, then what you want to do is you want to, like, I know this is going to be hard for you to believe. It's going to be hard for you to imagine. Like, start as a wealthrepreneur. Like, I had to build up intestinal fortitude. Oh, I got to get myself ready, get ready. So, and I didn't realize that I had something to offer to people who were people of means. I didn't realize that. I don't know if that's one of the places you were stuck or not, Andy, but I was stuck. Like, I didn't know that the things that I knew were valuable to people who had money. And so therefore, I never talked to those people. I talked to the people who I knew something about. I knew people who were in need. I knew needers. I knew a lot of needers, not very many leaders. I knew a lot of needers. I knew a lot of people in need. And I knew how people in need thought, so I knew how to sell to people in need. And I thought, I got to get to the place in my life where I break out of this leadership business model and break into a leadership business model. And so what I realized was that my best chance at creating wealth was for me to sell high-priced stuff to high-profile, high-income, high-net-worth individuals. And it literally changed everything for me. And there's so many shocking new awarenesses that you get when you sell high-priced stuff to rich people. You get the awareness that requires the same amount of energy. In fact, it requires less because people with money didn't get money by being indecisive. And so they already know what they desire to have. Like, they're already looking for it. So if you show up and you have it, ta-da! Congratulations, you're in the catbird seat. Okay. So for me, I remember my first premium value offer. Now, I know, Andy, you're going to think this is hilarious. Maybe you already know this. I'm not sure. But I remember my first premium value offer, I was going to teach people how to sell from stage. I was going to teach people how to do a seminar, make an offer, and get paid. That was my first premium offer. And when I just made this premium offer, I decided that I'm going to make this price so high that when I offer it, nobody's going to buy it. But I need the practice more than I need the profits. And so I'm going to get used to saying big numbers in front of people who think I'm crazy. And so I made this offer. And I was making, I was making 30,000, 20,000, 40, sometimes 40,000 a month, just like doing a couple, 3, 4, 5 seminars a month, teaching people how to do something I had learned how to do. And I'm going to sell this thing for $3,000. I got me a little seminar together, and there are 15, 20 people there. And I say, yeah, I'm going to teach you how to sell from stage. I'm going to show you this and that and the third. And then it's going to be $3,000. 2 people ran to the table and bought it. I literally thought maybe they didn't hear me say the price. I said 3,000. They went, gave me a credit card, put 3,000 in the credit card. That was crazy. I made 2 sales and made $6,000. Guess what I realized? The price was too low. So next time I did it, I'm raising the price. I know nobody's going to buy this. Had a few more people together the next month. I'm going to offer the same thing, but I'm going to get this, that, and the third. Raised the price to $4,000, all the way up to $4,000. I literally, I wasn't nervous because I already knew nobody was going to buy it. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't trying to sell it. I was just getting practice. Say, Myron, what you know? I'm talking about practice. Okay, me and Allen Iverson, practice. Okay, so I said $4,000. 7 people bought it. Shut up. Did they hear me say $4,000? $4,000. 7 people bought it. That's $28,000. 7 sales. This is crazy. I'm raising the price again. Surely this will stop them. And some of you are thinking, why are you trying to make the price so high nobody buys it? Because that's a better game to play than, I hope they buy. It's a better game to play. I can't be disappointed. I'm going to make the price so high they're going to say no. If they say no, I'm not disappointed. That's what I was expecting. If they say yes, I'm not disappointed. I'm just shocked. They said yes. Right? So I raised the price all the way up to $4,500. I stopped selling that as a one-off, I think, in 2019. When I stopped selling that same offer, do you know how much I was selling it for? $35,000 when I stopped selling it. So way more at $35,000 than I did at $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 or $12,000. I'm like, oh, so what was different? God is my witness. I am not exaggerating. The workbook did not change. The fact that it was delivered in 2 days did not change. You know what changed? I changed, and the people I sold to changed. And guess what happened? They started doing it. The first 2 people who bought for $3,000, I don't know if they ever did a seminar. But I remember one of the guys who bought when it was $25,000. He went and did a live event, had 1,000 people there, offered a $25,000 offer, and he was my first client to have $1 million day. I'm like, he's what I thought it meant, $1 million a day. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Is that too transparent? I'm like, he took what I taught him and had $1 million a day. At that time, I hadn't even took what I taught and had $1 million a day. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I had. I had one. I thought I had, but I hadn't had a bunch of them. I'm like, this is crazy. Hadn't had any student who'd done it. Not $1 million in a day. Now we've had so many students have $1 million a day. Why? Because I taught them this principle, the wealthtrepreneur principle. I would ask Andy, but I already know you've had more than you can remember, probably, right? So, like, it's why? Because this is how you get rich. It's so fascinating. You go to the mall in December, right? It's crowded as all get out. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these high-priced, some people would say overpriced stores, they have security guards outside the store. Not to keep people from stealing stuff, to keep too many people from getting in. There's a line outside the door. Why? Because they have oversubscribed businesses. I was talking to my man Daniel Priestley. Daniel Priestley wrote the book Oversubscribed. I don't know how many of you have read it, but it's one of my favorites. I was talking to Daniel on the phone yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Like, Dan, and it was the day before, a Saturday. I called him because I saw his new interview on Diary of CEO with Stephen Bartlett and him and Alex Hormozy and Cody Sanchez. I'm like, dude, it was so much fun watching you. And we were talking, and I was telling him, I said, you know, I love all of your books, but you know which one's my favorite? He said, yeah, I know which one's your favorite. Oversubscribed. He said, you did it. He said, I came to your event. He said, I wrote the book and he does it better than I do. That's what, right? And so oversubscribed means you got people lined up out the door around the building, credit cards in hand, wanting to pay you more than other people can beg people to pay. And so selling expensive stuff to rich people is the key. I mean, you can sell cheap stuff to poor people. Sam Walton did it. Worked great for him. But you probably don't have 900 physical locations. So hashtag, maybe this is a better idea. And so how do you sell? So the question then becomes, how do you sell expensive stuff to rich people? Number one, and this is not even one of the points. This is just, here's what you got to do. You have to decide to do it. And so I remember being in Russell Brunson's inner circle, and I remember thinking, I'm listening to all the stuff he's teaching. It's great stuff. That's all well and good. I'm loving it. Love Russell. But the thing that changed my life the most in that space was the fact that I was the brokest person in the room when I first joined 10 years ago in 2015. I was the brokest person. I wasn't one of the brokest. I was the brokest person in the room. And in that environment, what would happen is every entrepreneur would get up and stand why they're there, what they do. They would give like something, and value add. They'd teach people how to do something they're doing, and then they would ask for help on something. And so when clients got up and asked for help on stuff, all of us would raise our hands and say, well, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. And I'm literally the brokest person. There were kids in their 20s making $400,000 a month. And I'm like, I'm broke. And I'm like, and every time I said this is what I would do, everybody acted like it was the greatest thing they'd ever heard in their life. And I was so confused. I'm like, how can y'all be making this much noise about what I'm saying? All y'all are making more money. I didn't say that. I was thinking it. All y'all are making more money than me. Why do you think my ideas are the best? And you know what it made me realize? That's the greatest value I got out of being in that program. The fact that I realized that my stuff was valuable to people who had money, not just people who needed money. It changed the game. And so it introduced me to an environment of people. So here's some of the things that you think, and I know you think them because I used to think them. There can't be that many people out there who are rich that would buy stuff from me. There are millions. There are millions of rich people. By rich, I mean they can afford to spend they can afford to spend the amount that your offer cost and more and not even miss the money. Millions of people. And you don't have to get millions. Do you realize if you have a $10,000 offer to make $1 million, that's 100 sales? If you have a $100,000, you say, what would I sell for $100,000? That's your problem. You want to figure out what the answer is before you get in the game. You haven't even decided to get in the game, but you're asking questions like, what is it? And here's a better question. Okay, how can I get in this game? What do I have to offer? Instead, what are you going to buy from me? I don't ask that. I'm like, what problems can I solve? Which brings me to point number one. How do you solve to rich people? You solve their problems. That's it. Now, how do I know that rich people have problems? Because they're people. And people have problems. Here's what the word people means. They have problems. Now, what kind of people have problems? All kinds of people have problems. Everybody has problems. So you solve their problems. If you solve a poor person's problem, they can pay you what they can pay you. If you solve a rich person's problem, they'll pay you what they can pay you. And here's one thing I'll tell you about rich people. We don't like our problems any more than poor people like their problems. We're just willing to pay more to solve them. Are y'all tracking? And so here's what we do. Solve their problems. Number one, you solve their financial problems, personal and business. Now, one of the fastest paths to get into the wealth entrepreneur game is to solve financial problems for business owners. So I have this friend. He's in Jacksonville. He's an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. He bought his first investment property when he was 13. He's an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. He owned a plumbing company when he was 15. He was in class, going to school. He had 5 plumbing trucks with grown men working for him when he was 15. He's an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. One of my favorite people in the world. He went into the furniture business, and he was showing me how the furniture business worked. And he was like, this is a really good business to be in. But he wasn't in the business of selling furniture to people. He was in the business of selling furniture to furniture stores. And he would go to Brazil, and he would source out wood furniture, and they would come back to America, and he would sell that wood furniture to furniture stores. And then he said this, and he was also a pastor. He said, Brother Golden, I'm going to tell you something. He said, you can sell stuff to customers, or you can sell stuff to businesses. I like selling stuff to businesses because businesses have to buy stuff in order to stay in business. I was like, see, if this furniture store don't have no furniture, they're out of business. They need me. It's like, sell stuff to business owners. Why didn't I think of that? My friend Andy over here, he has a business. Do you mind if I share or no? If I won't if you don't want me to. I'm really okay. Okay. So my friend Andy over here, his story is one of my favorite stories. I don't know if you knew that or not, Andy. Your story is one of my favorite stories. You know why? He sells marketing services to lawyers. He teaches lawyers how to do marketing, right? Isn't that what you do? No. So I've got a question for you, Andy. Shoot straight with me now. How long have you been a lawyer?
Still haven't been.
No, so he's not a lawyer. He said, I still haven't been a lawyer. So he doesn't have a law degree. You never passed the bar? So he hasn't passed the bar. But there are very few lawyers who have law practices that make as much money as his business teaching. You teach marketing to lawyers and do marketing for lawyers, right? You do both. He has a marketing agency, but he also has a marketing education firm for lawyers. He's not a lawyer. Now, most of us would excuse ourselves out of that market. But he excused his way into it. You know why? Because he realized that lawyers, like doctors, like dentists, like cosmetic surgeons, like other businesses, they go to school to learn how to do a thing for people. What they don't teach is they don't teach how to get people to do that thing for. So he found a hole in the market where these people had pain. I got this law practice. I got to pay off my law school. I got to pay off my college loans. I got to pay all these loans. I got to pay, and I have to pay for this rent or mortgage on this building. I got to pay a paralegal. I got to pay all these people. But nobody ever taught me how to sell. Nobody ever taught me how to do marketing. Nobody ever taught me how to build a brand. They just taught me how to practice law. Nobody ever taught me they taught me how to do cosmetic surgery. They just didn't teach me how to get any clients. And guess what? He said, you know what? I think I'll step into that space. And last year, he said his business did, this year, 50 million. Last year, 30 million. This is today, it's August, 50 million already by the beginning of August. You say, Myron, what are you saying? I'm saying sell stuff to rich people. It works. It's not just something Myron does. This is it's called a formula. And there's something you know how to do. There's something you know how to do that rich people will pay you to do if it solves their problem. And by rich, they have enough money to, see, here's what I do. I decided, okay, I can help businesses that when they make a sale, they make $7, or when they make a sale, they make $7,000. If I help businesses that when they make a sale, they make $7,000, if I charge them $7,000 a month and I help them get 5 new sales, they're never going to leave me. Is that too transparent? Is that a little bit too helpful? Maybe. I don't know. But here's what y'all are going to, people are going to hear it. They're going to feel good about it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to think about it. Then they're going to get ready to do it. Then they're going to prepare to do it. Then they're going to get ready. Then they're going to prepare. And they're still not going to solve anybody's problem. Why? Because they don't, what do I say? I don't know. Go say something. If it works, you'll know that's what you say. If it doesn't work, you need to say something else. That's what I did. Is that what you did, Andy? You kind of figured out? I said stuff. For the first year and a half when I got started selling stuff, for the first year and a half with dozens and dozens and dozens of presentations, everybody said no. Guess what I was learning? I was learning what not to say. When I learned what not to say, I eventually learned what to say. And when I learned what to say, I didn't change it. I just kept saying the same thing over and over. I keep saying the same thing over and over. And guess what? People started getting it. I was like, oh, okay, this is how this works. And so solve financial problems for rich people. Solve business problems. See, there are 3 primary niches that work: health, wealth, and relationships, right? So if you solve business people's problem, you're solving a wealth problem. But if you solve personal problems for rich people, maybe it's not a financial problem. Maybe it's a relationship problem. People say, yeah, I'm a marriage counselor, but you can't really charge big money as a marriage counselor because there's no financial benefit to that. Really? If you end up in divorce court, you lose in half of what? Everything. There's no benefit in keeping 100% everything? What? Are you kidding me? See, what happens is we know how to think of the market, but we don't know how to think from the market. See, I learned how to think from the market. What are they feeling? What are their questions? What are their fears? What are their woes? What are the things they're worried about? What's their pain? What's causing them pain right now? So solve their personal problems, solve their business problems, solve their family problems. I had a family problem. You know what my family problem was? I didn't have a trust. So guess what? My in-house counsel said, hey, you need to hire a trust attorney. I'll find one for you. Okay, I hired a trust attorney. Trust attorney came, I paid him their $13,000 fee. Oh, $13,000? Oh, there's somebody who, when they make a sale, they make a lot of money. Now, how do they find more Myron Goldens? That's the question. Are y'all tracking? Is what I'm saying making any sense? So you solved their family problems. That was the family problem. The family problem was, well, we had a lot of money, but if something happened to me before I had my trust set up, the government was going to get at least half. That's a family problem. Solve fitness problems. Fitness can be nutrition. It could be exercise. It could be fixing broken bones. It could be like stem cells. It could be physical therapy. It could be chiropractic. There's so many different problems we can solve. But see, what happens is when you're desperate as a new entrepreneur, you sell things for low prices because you need the money. which tells me that you're thinking about the wrong person. Your real problem is not, well, I can't get anybody to pay me. No. The real problem is you're thinking about you. It's so fascinating to me. Like, how can people like Andy and I have clients who pay us $20,000 a month? Like, that doesn't even, like that sound, I mean, when you hear that sounds kind of like, $20,000 a month, ain't nobody paying. But there are people who pay $20,000 a month. You know why? Because the result they want is worth more than $20,000 a month. Is what I'm saying making sense? It's so interesting. You know what thing blows my mind the most? When somebody who I've never talked to, never heard of, never had a conversation with, didn't know they existed, they go on my VIPwithMyron.com, VIPwithMyron.com, they fill out a VIP application, they have a conversation, they buy a $375,000 coaching program. I've never even heard of them. They found me. So, but you let people know you solved their problem. Like, I hired Doug Grant. Why? Because Doug Grant is a fitness coach who he doesn't just have you taking a bunch of random stuff that they say is good for you. He literally draws your blood. He has a manufacturing company where they manufacture supplements. They manufactured my supplements for me that match what's missing in my blood and to get rid of stuff that is in my blood that shouldn't be in my blood. And then he does the blood screening. He comes, he came to my house. He showed me what was going on in my blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. If it's going on in my blood, it's going on in my life. And he showed it to me. He's like, this is why you need this. 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 We're going to have an accountability call every Tuesday night. Okay, we have an accountability call. How was your mental clarity? How was your joyfulness? How was your supplementation? How was your fitness? Like, and he asked me all these questions every Tuesday night. Give yourself 1 to 9. Right? And so I know I'm going to have a conversation with Doug tomorrow. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure I get my workout in. I'm going to make sure I'm taking my supplement. I'm going to make sure I'm eating right. I'm going to make sure I'm doing the things. Why? I'm going to have a conversation with Doug. He's holding me accountable for $50,000. I paid him $50,000. I'm not going to pay him $50,000 and not do what he said. One of the reasons I'm going to do what he said is because I paid him so much money. See, we think we're doing people a favor when we charge them less. Sometimes we're doing them a favor when we charge them more. Why now? Well, I'm invested. Jesus said the heart follows the pocketbook. And so because I paid this money for it, I'm going to do this thing. Okay, so you solve their financial problems. You solve their fitness problems. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how, people will desire what they desire. Period. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. I'm not a doctor. You're a doctor. You're a doctorate. We may have some other doctors in here, but I know we got 2 doctors in here. I'm not a doctor. But my health matters to me. I blew out my knee in 2018, right? So, I had tore my meniscus, had meniscus surgery, which I wish I hadn't done, but I did. Then I got some stem cell injections, which helped tremendously. And then I started going to physical therapy. And I'm going to physical therapy 3 times a week, right? And each session was $100, which is okay, cool. And so they had me on this machine called the New Fit Newbie. And it's electronic muscle stimulation device. And they put the Newbie on my knee, and they would do it on my back, and they'd have all this stuff they do. And so I'm doing these exercises with the Newbie on my knee. So it's erasing the pain signal, increasing the strength, increasing the recovery, blah 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 blah. And I'm going there 3 times a week. Well, 3 times a week times 4 weeks a month. I'm paying $1,200 a month to go have this machine. I'm like, how much are these machines? Right? Because $1,200 a month times 12 months, right? And I only get to use it 3 times a week. Well, that's $14,400. How much is the machine? $18,000. Well, I think I'll buy one. $18,000, I'll buy the machine. Then I can use it at home every day. So I go to this training. It's 5 days. All day. It's all day for 5 days. It's a medical-grade medical device. Me and 2 other people there are the only ones there who are not doctors. I'm going to learn how to use this machine on Myron. Why would I pay $18,000 for a piece of equipment that they could use the doctors? Why? Because I want to be able to do it at home whenever I need it. What if the physical therapy practice is closed? You see what I'm saying? Like $18,000. I know that's a lot of money. That's not my point. My point is, I was willing to pay the money, and it was easy for them to sell this thing to this rich guy, rich-ish. I'm not Bill Gates rich, but I'm all right? And so $18,000 to buy this machine. I did some calculations on my biohacking room and all the biohacking equipment I have in my biohacking room at my house. It's like $75,000 worth of equipment I have in my house to tap into my biology and accelerate healing, accelerate strength building, accelerate recovery. Why would I spend that much money on it? Because, to me, my fitness is that important to me that I'm willing to spend whatever it costs to optimize my fitness. I'm not the only one. Is what I'm saying making sense? Okay. Like Dr. Ben Hardy, he was here about a month and a half ago, right? Dr. Ben Hardy was here, and I interviewed him, right? Well, Doug Grant is also his nutritionist. Also Russell Brunson's, and God only knows who else. He's got a big conference coming up in September where he teaches all these medical doctors how to do holistic medicine. You say, Myron, what are you saying? I'm saying, solve a problem for rich people. Nobody knows everything. I don't care how much money you have, you don't know everything. Okay, so you solve their problem, then you soothe their pain. A problem is different than pain. Problem is I'm stuck. But pain is this hurts. And I want to get out of this pain. And pain usually shows up in the pain of what's absent. What's missing? Something is missing. Rich people will pay a lot of money to alleviate the pain of missing something that they could have. So we'll pay to solve the pain of what's missing. And we'll pay a lot of money. I'm at the risk of sounding obsessive, and it is kind of obsessive. I love golf. Wow. Okay. I love golf. And I love it so much that, and I like to win. And I don't like to win because I want to be a professional golfer. I like to win because I like to talk smack. I mean, if I beat you, I'm going to make you feel it. So when you beat me, you better make me feel it. Because when I beat you, I'm coming at you, bro. So, anyway. And if I taste blood, I'm coming on strong. I'm coming on strong. And so I love golf. So my friend Paul, who we played yesterday, and Paul beats me most of the time. He's a better golfer than I am for the time being. Hits the ball farther than me, probably for the rest of both of our lives, by a long shot. At least 100 yards farther off the tee with his driver. It's mind-blowing. It's like launching a missile. It's crazy. Anyway, Paul's a great golfer. And he beats me most of the time. But he don't beat me all the time. Oh, yeah. I beat his butt yesterday, boy. He would. I had him down by 11 strokes by the 10th hole. I said, ain't no coming back from this, boy. Right? And I was 4 over on the front 9. I'm like, I got a birdie number 9 to shoot a 39 on the front. So I birdied number 9. Hardest par 3 in Hillsborough County, right? Long, narrow, green, bunker on the left, woods on the right. It's boom. Launched that 8-iron, 149 yards. I was a little long. Made that putt. I was like, 39. And then proceeded to blow up on the back and shoot 49, and still won. Okay, so I love golf. So Paul says to me, I hope he sees this video. I love this. I love playing golf with this guy. Anyway, so Paul says to me, Myron, you've never gotten fitted for golf clubs? You need to get fitted for golf clubs. Why? These are working fine. Nah, bro, you need fitted clubs, man. When I got fitted, it changed the game. I'm like, okay, I'll go get fitted. I went and got fitted. This is I'm not changing my putter. My putter is legit en fuego, right? It's fire. All new irons, new driver, new hybrid, new 3-wood. $7,000 later. I haven't paid $7,000 for all the golf clubs I bought all my life up to this point, right? So what's the pain? Pain of what's absent. I used to be a good golfer. I used to be a 4 handicap. Now I'm an 11.2. I don't like being an 11.2 when I used to be a 4. Paul says, who's a great golfer, you get fitted, you can get what you used to have. Okay, I'm buying, right? So we will spend a lot of money to pay for getting rid of the pain of what's absent. But we'll also get rid of the pain of what's annoying. So for me, I can't speak for other people. But for me, what's annoying, there are several things that are annoying, very annoying. One is I don't like minutia. But sometimes minutia has to be handled, right? So my wife and I are going on vacation, and we're going to be gone for a month for our 40th anniversary because, like, we've been married 40 years. That's a celebration. This is the big one, right? 40 years, right? And so we're going to all these really cool places, but I don't want to look all this stuff up and find out where to stay and blah, 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 blah. So what do? Hire a travel agent. Why? Because to pay for, like, the pain of eliminating the pain of being annoyed. You know what my biggest pain of being annoyed is? Flying commercial. On the "we will inconvenience you at our convenience airlines." I have a friend who's a pilot for American Airlines. He said, Myron, they're not "we will inconvenience you at our convenience airline." They're "we will inconvenience you at our convenience, even if it inconveniences us," airlines. Right? And I hate it. I loathe it. I detest it. It's abominable. I know, it sounds crazy. But I had polio as an infant. I got a brace on my leg. TSA pre. I paid extra for TSA pre. I go through the TSA pre line. The guy takes me out of the line and says, "I'm sorry, sir. We have to take you in this room. We have to see the top of your brace. I can pull my pants up." "No, we'll take you in the private room. You have to pull your pants." What? I'm so irritated. You wanted to be a CIA agent, but you couldn't pass the test. So now you're a TSA agent, and you're going to accost me and save the world from me. You're going to save the world from me. Me. Look at me. Whatever, bro. Like, I hate it. When I fly private, I drive up to the gate. I call the FBO. I say, "Hey, I'm at the gate for tail number blah, 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 November Charlie Whiskey 75892. Cool. Okay, go. "We're opening the gate for you, Mr. Golden." "Great." Drive in, pull up to the plane. I don't even get out of the car. I sit there in the car. The pilot, the co-pilot, and the ground crew. I pop the trunk open, they unload all my stuff, put it on the plane. Say, "What? Do you have to get there 2 hours early?" No. I can get there 20 minutes late. I don't, but I can. They ain't gonna leave without, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, the door's already closed." No, they ain't closing no doors if I ain't in there. I land. My rental car is beside the plane. Or this car service, depending on which one I'm using, the car service or my rental car is beside the plane. It's already there. The ground crew, the pilot and the co-pilot, unload the plane, put it in my car. That's way better than a TSA agent saving the world from me. So, rich people will pay for eliminating the pain of what's annoying, soothe the pain of what's annoying, soothe the pain of what's absent, and soothe the pain from what's anticipated. We will pay a lot of money to get out of future pain. We'll pay a lot of money right now to keep future pain from happening in the future. Which, by the way, is very similar to why I work out and pay a health coach. And why? Because I don't want to be a tired old man ever. Ever. When I'm 103, I'm not going to be a tired old man. You can't say you're not going to be. I just said it. You might not be able to say it, but I can say it. I'm not going to be a tired old man. Why? Because you get tired over time, and I'm not going to let myself get tired over time. I'm going to get stronger and longer, and I'm going to make sure See, here's what I realized. I realized that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. If you're not getting stronger, you're getting weaker. If you're not getting richer, you're getting poorer. There is no staying the same. So if you're not actively, intentionally working on getting better, your life is automatically getting worse. I'm so blown away by this principle that I discovered, I think it was this year. And I thought about it, and it hit me so hard. Because you have the first law of thermodynamics, which is energy. Everything's energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, it just changes form. But you have the second law of thermodynamics, which is what? Entropy. Anything left to itself tends to move more and more towards disorder. I went, think about every area of your life. Every area. Every aspect of your life. In order for any aspect of your life to get better, it requires energy and intention. Or probably in reverse order, intention and then energy. But even intention isn't energy, so we'll leave it like it was. Energy and intention. To get anything better. If you're going to get better physically, if you're going to get better in your relationships, if you're going to get better in your finances, if you're going to get whatever in your life going to get better, requires energy and intention. But to get worse requires no energy or intention. It only requires neglect. You don't have to intend to be worse. All you have to do is not intend to be better. You don't have to intend to get richer. All you have to do is not intend to get richer. I mean, you don't have to intend to get poorer. All you have to do is not intend to get richer. You say, I don't think you should focus on getting richer. Oh, then don't do it. And you become poorer over time. If you don't have an intention of creating more wealth over time, you miss the point. Myron, how much money do you want to make? As much as I can. Surely you can't mean that. Surely I do. Let me ask you a question. How long do you want to live? If you say, how much money do you want to make? As much as I can. How much money do you want to make? Just enough to be comfortable. Well, how long do you want to live? Well, I just want to live long enough to be comfortable. How smart do you want to be? Just smart enough to be comfortable. How smart do you want your children and grandchildren to be? Just smart enough to be comfortable. How healthy do you want to be? Well, I only want to be healthy enough to be comfortable. Nobody says that. Nobody says that about any of those areas. How good do you want your relationships to be? Well, just good enough to be a relationship. Nobody says that. But when it comes to money, we feel like we have to slam on the brakes and say, I just want to make enough to be comfortable to appease people that we don't even know to keep them from judging us. Judge me, bruh. I don't really care what you think about why my reasons are. I intend to get richer because I have no intention of getting poorer, and there's no such thing as staying the same. If I'm not moving backward, I'm not standing still. If I'm not moving forward, I'm not standing still. I'm actually moving backwards. Period. And so are you. And you can deceive yourself into thinking, I'm just maintaining. There is no maintaining. You're losing ground. You're losing ground because of entropy, because of inflation, because you're going backwards if you're not going forward, because the entropy of life affects everyone. You think you're going to be different. You're delusional. Myron, why do you want to make more money? So I don't make less money. You're struggling to live off of what you're making now, and you want to make less? No, I don't want to make less. I just don't want to make more. If you don't want to make more, you want to make less, because there is no staying the same. Period. If you keep making the same amount of money you're making right now for the rest of your life, you will be making less because inflation is deteriorating every dollar you earn every day you live. So quit tripping and deceiving yourself into thinking that you're noble because you don't want to make more money. Because you don't want people to know you want to make more money. Know it or don't know it, baby. Do you, boo. I'm going to make money. I'm going to make as much as I can, and I'm not going to give all of my money to some charity when I die. I'm leaving it to my children. They can donate it to the charities that they want to donate it to as they're still alive. And I love giving money to charity. Don't get me wrong. But I have a biblical mandate to leave an inheritance to my children's children if I want to consider myself a good man. So, find rich people, solve their problems, soothe their pain, and then supply their pleasure. Supply things that make them happy. Like me and my $7,000 golf clubs, that when I first bought them, I was ready to throw them away. I was like, why did I spend this much money on these clubs? I was hitting my old clubs better than this. I literally, Andy, I bought new clubs. I couldn't hit them to save my grandmother's life. It was crazy. I could not hit them. Like, the ball wouldn't go anywhere. I'm like, I bought these to get more distance, not less distance. I bought these clubs to hit better shots. But guess what? I just stuck with it and just kept on going. Kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. Like, by the way, when I talk about supplying their pleasure, pleasant destinies, like things they desire in the future, like what are some things that rich people desire in the future that they can't have right now? I don't know, but when you figure out what it is and you sell it to them, they're going to buy it. See, here's what I realized about people. Rich people, poor people, middle class people, all people. Here's what I realized about people. We all have things on our one of these days I'm going to get one of these list. Now maybe it's one of these days when I get enough money, or maybe it's one of these days when I feel like I deserve it, but one of these days I'm going to get one of these, right? And so if you can figure out a way to supply future pleasant dreams of rich people, you can get rich. If you can supply rich people with, if you can supply them with a pleasant direction, in other words, you can sell them, you can teach them how to get to some place they desire to go. That's what I do. I just teach business owners how to grow their businesses. You know why? Because growing a business is simple. Like, what if there were a formula for everything? What if there was a way that everything worked? And you apply this formula, and then when you apply the formula works. Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, so future directions. Like for me, my future direction is I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I'm transitioning, not from an entrepreneur, but I'm transitioning also into being an investor. Why? Because last year and the year before, I got back all the money that I paid in income tax. All of it. Like all of it. Literally saved millions of dollars on my taxes because I own a little bit of real estate. Well, if I can save millions by owning a little bit of real estate, guess how much real estate I want to own? A lot. Right. And so I'm starting a real estate fund. Why? Because I realize the value of keeping more of the money you make through investing. Like the primary reason investors invest is not to produce more money, but it's to protect the money we already make. And then the things that we buy to protect the money we already make produces more money. Oh man, one of these days, I'm going to show you the Myron Golden money game that I play, the game that I'm playing financially. One of these days, I'm going to show that to you because to me it changes everything. And then lastly is pleasant domains. Things that we want to be rulers over. Do you ever realize that God is the king of the universe, and he made all of us to be kings and queens? He made us to be kings over our thing and queens over our scenes because God gave us all an assignment. And the purpose for my life is to grow into my assignment in such a way that I can fulfill it. There are things that I want to rule over that I don't rule over yet. So I have to learn things that I haven't known, and I have to leverage things that I have, and I have to work in areas that I haven't worked in before in order for me to get to the place where I can rule over my assignment. And I don't want to rule over my assignment. My assignment is not people. I want to rule over my assignment and use the assignment that I rule over to serve the people who come into my life. That's why we have this YouTube channel. That's why we have this studio. That's why I have my business, right? Like I'm saying get rich by selling to rich people. But guess what? Even my YouTube channel, the reason it pays me, my 2 YouTube channels pay me over, I don't even know how much it is, between $500,000 and $1 million a year between 2 YouTube channels that I just got started in 3 years ago. The reason that happens is because I provide content on Google's platform, and they sell ads to people who want customers. And they pay me some of the money from those ads. Even Google does it. So, if you want to get rich,